Hi, everybody. My name is Ernesto from Filmit.com. Filmit.com is dedicated to helping mental health professionals develop a web-based presence through video marketing and social media marketing. I have the one and only Keri Nola from our last conversation, if you guys haven't seen it, and I would encourage that you go back to that. We talked a lot about private practice building, and today we're going to talk about a concept called looking under the hood. Keri Nola is going to explain some of the reasons why that would be. First of all, Keri, hi, welcome.
Hi! So glad to be here, Ernesto. Thank you for having me back. Our conversation was such a great way to end the year last year. It was one of the last interviews I did, and I'm honored to be here again to continue our conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Keri, from the last time we spoke, there were so many comments on what is it about private practitioners that at one point they become so stagnant, and then next thing you know they become full in their practice. And you mentioned something last time which caught my attention, which is the looking under the hood. And that's when I called you and said, Keri, we need to do something about this and capitalize on that. So
I provide intuitive coaching for healers who are ready to look under the hood of their business and understand what are the obstacles that are keeping them stuck. So I tune into your energy and just really get a sense of what it is that's keeping you from being the fullness of who you are as a healer on the planet. And yeah, we just dive into that together and figure it out so that you can really step into your most authentic version of yourself and actually create a business that is satisfying to you, that's abundant, and that's creating incredible value and service to the people that you serve.
Wow, a lot of the therapists that I come across are so, out in limbo and not knowing the direction that they go into. And I'm glad that you are an intuitive clinician and a healer to kind of see where they're at and refine that, help them refine that, right? Okay, so Keri, looking under the hood, for private practitioners or healers, can you please define what that is within the context of practice building?
Absolutely. So I see so many well-meaning clinicians who focus so much on the external structure. So imagine this is your car, and the car is sexy. It's looking good. You would imagine that it would drive really smooth. So this is, I've got my marketing plan. I'm reaching out. I have my business cards. I have a killer website. I have gone to networking meetings. I'm doing everything right. I've got my social media set up. I've got this amazing video that Ernesto made for me, and it's just sitting there on my homepage, and I'm like, why isn't my phone ringing? So what's under the hood is the engine, right? And if that car doesn't have an engine that is fine-tuned and well-oiled and working correctly, it doesn't matter how sexy the outside of that car is, the structures, the strategies, the whatever, it's not going to function properly. And that's what I was finding, and why I've shifted the way that I've been supporting healers is when we focus so much on the external and we miss the internal, we're wondering, why isn't my practice growing, moving smoothly? And what I've discovered is because we focus so much on the external that we miss the opportunity to go inward. And let's face it, we don't get into this field because we're free of our own stuff. Right? And our practices become a mirror then for our own unhealed wounds. And there's nothing faster to bring up our own wounds than to be a private practitioner, because when we're working for ourselves, we have issues around worthiness. We're directly collecting money for value that we're offering, and it wakes up a lot of stuff.
Yep, absolutely. And I love the fact that you said, sometimes we question our worth, and the value that we provide, and us as a person. Can you speak to that? Of what is a healthy value that a lot of private practitioners need to accept about themselves, and an unhealthy one?
Yeah, so to me, the value is about being who we are and letting that be present in the work. And I think if we don't know who we are, one, or if we're not comfortable with who we are, or we're not doing that inner work to really embrace the fullness of who we are, then we don't see that value, and then we can't feel it in the work that we're doing. And so to me, a healthy relationship with our value is realizing that we're enough just because we're there, because we exist, because we show up, because we're sharing who we are and what we're on the planet to do with our clients. And then an unhealthy relationship with our value is making it about the cost of our services, or making it about what you do. And to me, we're so busy doing that we've lost the art of being.
Wow.
And now, our clients then see this, and we're performing, and we're trying to get them to stop performing in their life, but there's an incongruence. So another aspect of looking under the hood is getting congruent. How can I ask my client to do something that I haven't been willing to do? If I'm not coming home to my own worthiness, how can I hold that sacred space for my clients to do it? And it doesn't mean that we have to have it all figured out, or that we have to be in a place of perfection with it. I think we're perfectly imperfect just the way that we are, but we do have to be honest and transparent within ourselves in the least, so that when we're showing up, there's a clean and clear space that we're aligned with ourselves in, so that we draw clients that are ready for what we have to offer, and that when we're sitting in that space with them, there's not kind of a mixed message of energies of, I want you to do something that I haven't been willing to do or explore within myself.
Wow. So if you don't know your value, if you don't know your worth as a clinician, when you say, I cost this much, and you're not genuine and you're not connected with yourself, that's an incongruence.
Absolutely. Yeah, and our clients aren't paying for our worth. We're priceless. So to me, setting your fees in therapy isn't got nothing to do with your value or your worth, because that's infinite. It's priceless. The cost of your services is an exchange, an energy exchange that you've agreed upon to for the time investment that you're spending with your clients doing your gift. And I want to say about fees, I know we said we were just going to talk about getting under the hood. I guess this is part of it too, Ernesto, but a piece of this for me is when we invite our clients to invest in working with us, we're inviting them to invest and remember their own value and worthiness. So I find that really important as part of that process, because we sometimes we feel badly that we're charging for our services, but yet when we're not charging, we're not inviting our clients to rise to the occasion of their own worthiness, their own value, or to feel that discomfort of how much they're going to stretch for themselves in order to get support for what it is that they're struggling with.
So in a way, what you're doing within the room and within your relationship with your client is a reflection of these worthiness from on the other side of the chair, from you to them, from them to you. And so is that where the energy that you're talking about?
Absolutely. It's almost like transference issues that arise in the business aspect, because I think we focus on that clinically, but then we forget. We think we're a victim of our practice, and we're not. We're constantly being reflected back. Is my phone ringing? No. Okay. So what's going on in me? How come that's not happening? And every time I'm celebrating with one of the therapists I support that they're getting new clients, their practice is filling up, I say, let's celebrate that, and let's figure out what is going on within you that's welcoming that reality, just as much as we would acknowledge what's going on when their phone isn't ringing, right, and what's going on within them to make that happen, because we can't let that be about external realities. It's internal, and we're completely disempowered when we forget that truth.
So what I'm hearing from you then is part of looking under the hood is looking at the section, the spark plug of worth, right, in the engine, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Are there any other components in looking under the hood? What are we looking for? What is it that we need to go after to make sure that it's clean and working properly?
Mm-hmm. I think at the core of it, I think the only problem that any of us have is forgetting the truth of who we are and forgetting our infinite worthiness. So there's a lot of ways that would manifest itself, but at the core, I think that's truly what we're looking for. If we're to kind of zoom out and see some other aspects of this, I think investigating our money story is really important. What is our relationship with money? That's a big piece of it in tying into the worthiness issue. And it's also about, are we willing to really show up and be who we are, and to serve who we are here to serve? I think therapists are focused on techniques and strategies. I think healers are focused on being present with a process of organic unfolding.
Wow.
And I think that's really what we're in the process of birthing on our planet right now, is the differentiation between how we integrate our therapist self. Techniques and strategies have a place, but I think what hasn't had as much of a place is our willingness to allow that organic unfolding. And in order for that to happen, we have to feel comfortable and in relationship with ourselves at a deep, deep level. Because when we're in school, I mean, you know, you're a professor, Ernesto. So what are we teaching students? We teach about healthy boundaries, and we teach about not putting their stuff in the room. And I think that evolves to a point where we can be transparent in a healthy way.
Right.
And that's something that we dance with, but we can't do that if we haven't gone under the hood, because that's where our boundaries become blurred, because we don't understand ourself and our stuff well enough to know when it shows up in the room, both clinically and in our practice building.
So some of the work that you're doing, first of all, this is phenomenal stuff. Again, I'm speaking with Keri Nola. Check out her website. Keri, what's your website again?
It's kerinola.com.
Okay, easy, right?
Easy.
Check it out. Talk to her, you know, get connected with her, because she will give you she'll give you a lot of valuable information, not only from the business aspect, but looking under the hood. And Keri Nola is speaking truth. One of the reasons that it is so passionate for me as a clinician, and also helping with the videos, is Keri's right. You can put beautiful videos out there with nice visuals, music, but if you are not showing up as a genuine individual in your videos, people are not going to gravitate towards it. They're not going to stay and watch. They're just going to move on. And so, Keri, I appreciate what you're doing, that you're helping clinicians and healers to look under the hood, look at their worthiness, look at what's going on in there, because there's a healthy sense of transference that we have to give out, right? And when that healthy transference is out there, not only in the universe, but with the people that you work with, it invites success. So I think you touched on something that I would like to even do another segment on, Keri. Here's another teaser, right, for the audience. But you mentioned something about clinicians are so focused on building their practice. They're so focused on the goal, strategy, all of that stuff, which is fine. It has a place, like you said. But I think what is more important is you as a healer, and you focus on that, refine that, be genuine, be who you are, look at your infinite worth that you mentioned, right? And maybe that piece where you're trying to build that practice follows. What do you say?
I couldn't be in more agreement. I have been talking a lot lately about how, rather than promoting yourself, you learn how to attract your clients. And so that's the difference of being versus doing. Promotion is doing. It's action oriented. And I think there's so much of that, and we get caught up in the cycles of perfectionism and hustling for our worthiness, as Brene Brown, one of my mentors, refers to it as. And I think that cycle is really deadly for our business. It takes the life right out of our business. So when we can be in who we are and get so clear on who we're here to serve and what we are, you know, how we're showing up, then we begin to attract, like a magnet, clients to us. I can tell you, I work with therapists every day, and sometimes we never even tweak their website or their online profile directories or anything that they're doing about marketing, because I go inside first. I say, before we touch the structure, let's go inside and take a look around. Let's feel this out here. Let's see what we're looking at. And I do an energy assessment, and I check in with their energy field, and I look for blocks and obstacles, and I check it out with them and see how it's resonating. And after we do that, without ever touching structure or strategy, we start seeing phones ringing. We start seeing clarity. We start seeing clients coming in. Clients that were no-showing or late paying start becoming more invested, start sticking around and holding their appointments. So patterns change when we change. And that's the difference of feeling like a victim of your practice or being empowered in what you're doing.
I love that, victim of your practice, because you're absolutely right. You know, in my own journey as a private practitioner, putting it in that way really clarifies how I became that victim, you know, and I started complaining about stuff, and the more negative energy I put out there, the more isolated I become. And I think tapping into that is such a important piece of a successful private practitioner. Now, Keri, I want to move this to a place where now we've defined what looking under the hood is. We have to look at all of those areas, those pieces of blocks and unworthiness. How can one tap into and move on with that block, or how do they work out their worth from your perspective?
So I think this is really about first acknowledging it and then being willing to be present with it. I think we want to shun parts of us that are unsavory or not likable or that seem to be going against or sabotaging our mission. But what we don't understand is we can't be who we are and we can't do the work we're here to do if we don't have all parts of ourselves on board. So it's not about getting rid of parts of us that have not felt like they're supporting our mission. It's about getting to know them. It's about sitting with the block. And I really like to externalize parts of ourselves that we're discovering. So if a block is this idea that healers or service-oriented professionals don't make a lot of money or should be giving their work away for free, if that's an idea or a belief, we would sit with that and we would say, well, where did I learn that? And what does it say about me if I think something else now? And we just really explore. So to me, it's about asking questions, and it's about a willingness to sit with our answers and to bring love and compassion to those spaces, because the cutting off of parts and trying to, we talked about this last time too, but it's relevant still, this whole idea or notion of screwing fear or F fear, those kind of things, it lacks an energy of compassion in my mind, and that's never worked. It's not something I tell my clients to do, and it's not something that I like to practice, although there is a default in me that prefers to ignore my fear. But when I do it, my practice suffers, and the way that I feel in doing the work that I love doesn't feel right.
Yeah, denial never works in a lot of contexts.
Correct.
It's a defense, yes, but it backfires. It really does backfire. Again, I'm speaking with Keri Nola, KeriNola.com. Contact her. She's going to help you tweak those areas in your life as a private practitioner that is preventing you from being successful. Keri, tell us a little bit more about your practice and, again, how to contact you.
Sure. I work with healers all over the world, so no matter where you are, if you're feeling like you have come up against an obstacle and you are someone who's willing to go inward and to do that work and to have that sacred space held for you, then that is what I love to do. And KeriNola.com is my website. I've got lots of free trainings and blogs and information there. And I would be honored to support you if it's time for you to take these steps for yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Keri. Now, Keri, I also want to ask you another question that came up with some of the clinicians that I work with. I noticed that a lot of clinicians are so mean to themselves. When they're not meeting their goals, when they're not seeing their practice, they start overly criticizing themselves. They're questioning their self-worth. I mean, it's one thing to say my practice is not doing well and it sucks, but it's another thing to say I'm horrible at this, I am bad, I'm a failure. Can you speak to that piece?
Yeah, I think this rides the coattails beautifully of what we were just talking about with fear and with getting into relationship with aspects of ourselves. One of the things that helps me is when I'm judging me, I'm bringing an energy of judgment into my work with clients. I can't judge me and not judge you because we're the same, right? If we're going on that universal truth of interconnectedness, when I judge me, I judge you. So to me, that helps hold me accountable to the inner work that I want to keep doing so that I can hold deeper and more truthful space with my clients. Even though I might not say I'm judging you, if there's judgment in the room, even if it's towards me, you're feeling that. And I think that's important for us to look at because we think we can sit behind or on our chair across from our clients and our issues don't impact or influence the process, but they absolutely do. And I think it's a decision that I make multiple moments a day when I notice that self-judgment about partnering with that judgmental or critical part of myself. And what I find is when I'm judging, I'm afraid. And if I just say I'm scared, instead of, God, you're so stupid, how come you haven't figured this out yet? What is wrong with you? I thought you figured that out last week, or we've done this 100 times, why are we back here? I just pause and breathe, notice the self-judgment, and I just say, I'm scared.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think fear really convinces us that we are bad people. I mean, bad practice is one thing, but bad people is just so ugly to hear and very toxic to the soul. You know, when I film videos for therapists, when I do the editing, I just get so impressed with what comes out. And then I show them the piece, and they have all of these little things that they pick out. Oh my gosh, my hair's this way, my hair's not that, my eyes are too. It's like, wait, what about the content? And did you show up? Did you feel that your message is out there? Because from my perspective, I'm seeing something else. In your mind, you're seeing another thing. And I got to be very sensitive to that as well, too, and really speak to that. But I see that a lot when the camera starts rolling.
All our insecurities start pouring out, right?
Oh my, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that I'm also a clinician. You know,
I was going to say, what's better than a therapist videographer? I mean, you can't have a better pairing. It's so necessary.
Wow, you know, and sometimes I turn on the camera and brilliance come out of their mouth. And I get shocked, right? 2 days before, they're sweating. They're like, I don't know what to say. I'm dumb. I'm this. I'm like, okay. It's consistent across the board. Camera goes on, brilliance comes out, and insecurities are projected.
Yes.
You know? Now, what's it like for you, Keri, when you see people come from this dark place within themselves and then see them fly? You know, see them soar as an individual and as a private practitioner.
Yeah, I just feel so much gratitude for being able to be a part of the process, and so much celebration. And what I'm mindful of is to not take credit for that growth or for the lack of, because we're all at a different spot. And what it truthfully reminds me of is my own journey, right? It reminds me of times I've given myself permission to be fully and completely supported and being in who I am in my business and my life. And when that's not happening with people I support, I can really empathize and remember and relate to times when I myself don't give myself permission to accept support and receive it. So I don't know who said it. I feel like it might have been Maya Angelou, but when we want to take credit for a compliment somebody gives us, that means we also have to believe them and accept when they don't like something that we did. So to me, it's like trying to get into a relationship with, that's all just a reflection of my own journey, and I hold it with them, and we witness it together, and we do a lot of celebrating in my coaching academy, and a lot of grieving and fear work. And I think the light and shadow and the partnership between both of those is absolutely vital. And I just feel so grateful and privileged every day that I decided to take on this role in this life, because I wake up every day to do this, and I know that it's why I'm here.
Wow. Again, I'm speaking with Keri Nola. Please visit her website at kerinola.com. From our conversation, we are really passionate and dedicated about helping all of you become successful clinicians. And part of that journey is to look under the hood. Keri Nola, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. And again, this is not the last time. You're actually going to hear and see Keri a lot more on my videos.
Thank you so much for having me, Ernesto. I love our chats, and I look forward to next time.
Absolutely. Keri, go ahead and for all of you out there, I'm going to be posting on this video Keri Nola's information. And again, this is Ernesto from filmit.com. Filmit.com is dedicated to helping mental health professionals develop a web-based presence through video marketing and social media marketing. Again, I thank you and also Keri. Thank you again for joining us here. And if you have if you want any information about what we do, visit our website.